Hey, it's time to talk about Ahsoka. I'm super excited that this series has debuted, and I'm really looking forward to talking about the first two episodes. But before I get started, I do want to acknowledge while I'm filming this, the writers and actor strike is currently going on, and this show, like so many other great shows and movies, would not be possible without the talented writers and actors who worked on this series. So I'll include a link in the description box below with more info on that strike, but I did just want to acknowledge the contribution the actors and writers made to this series and made it possible and made all this awesome Star Wars content we enjoy possible. With that being said, let's get started talking about Ahsoka. This review will include some spoilers, so if you haven't seen the first two episodes of Ahsoka, please stop watching, go watch the episodes, and then come back and watch this review. Also, I'm not going to try to divide my review up into the two episodes. I'm just going to talk about it overall. I would say if I had to pick a favorite, I think I probably enjoyed the first episode a little bit more, but overall I enjoyed them a lot. So kind of hit on a few things quick that I really liked, some like general stuff before I get to details. One, I loved that the fact that it opened with a crawl. And now I know it's not the same style as your classic Star Wars crawl, but there is something very nostalgic about seeing a Star Wars project start with a crawl. It's really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. That really got me, put a big smile on my face right when the show started to see that. So I thought that was very, very cool. And I love early on, as somebody who's a huge Thrawn fan, as you can tell me having an Heir to the Empire shirt on, that Thrawn was mentioned very early on. I wasn't exactly sure how much he would be mentioned in the show before hopefully he appears, but it's clear like he's definitely the main focus of the show on the villain side, so I thought that was really, really cool. Love seeing all the our favorite characters back from Rebels. That is amazing. Loved seeing Lothal again in person. Corellia, Lothal specifically looked amazing. Loved it. I didn't really expect going back to Corellia, but that was really cool. A lot of the new planets we visited were really cool. The design of the show looked really awesome. There was nothing really in the show that I had a moment like, oh, that looks kind of cruddy or bad. I thought the show looked really, really amazing. On the look side, before I forget, because I'm afraid if I don't mention it now, I'll forget. I love the art style for the end credits. Absolutely beautiful. And I think all that stuff is going to mean a lot of stuff. I'm sure there'll be some videos coming out soon translating a lot of the text in that and delving into what all the artwork means. But regardless of what it means and stuff, I thought it was really beautiful. And I always love when a show does something a little creative with their end credits. A lot like The Mandalorian. I love the artwork The Mandalorian always does in their end credits. So I want to salute the team behind Ahsoka finding something fun and creative to do with their end credits. The one thing I'll say, like overall picture that I was a little bit surprised about, I think they still did a good job with it. I was maybe expecting if they did an opening crawl or something like a little bit of a prologue to the show, that maybe there would be like a very quick, all right, if you haven't watched Rebels, or maybe you haven't watched Clone Wars at all, you don't know who Ahsoka is, but specifically Rebels, here's a little 2-minute, like, breakdown of what's going on. It would not have shocked me if they'd even just like used a little clip from the animated show and just like say, hey, this is what's going on, just to catch me off guard. Because obviously I loved Clone Wars, I loved Rebels, but I know a lot of Star Wars fans, especially a lot of casual fans, just don't watch the animated series, so this is all new to them. So I was kind of surprised when the show didn't start, they didn't do something immediately to try to catch those people up, to kind of avoid them being too confused. But I think over the course of this 2-episode opening, they did a good job of introducing you to the characters, slowly introducing to Ahsoka, slowly introducing to Sabine, Hera, a little bit of Chopper, some planets like Lothal, giving you a little bit of background, and doing it in such a way where it wasn't like they were just dumping a ton of info on you. Just like, little casual mentions that, like, a lot of people, if you haven't seen the anime series, you might not be aware that Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan, so just casually mention that. Mention their involvement in the liberation of Lothal, mention that they were on the same crew, that general type of info. Giving a little background of who Ezra was, a little background on why they're concerned about Thrawn. I thought they did a really good job about that. Now I'll say, I don't know if I'm the best person to judge about this, because obviously I'm aware of all this stuff, so I'd be very curious if somebody who's a casual fan watch the show, what would they think? Would they be very confused about like, who is this Ahsoka? Who is this Sabine? What's their relationship? I don't understand what's going on. So I'll be interested in maybe hear from some people like that. I feel like if they were confused or if they were able to get on board right away. The one thing was kind of a little surprised that we did get any little mentions of like, unless I missed it and just forgot about it, that we did get a little call out to Zeb, something like that. Or maybe even like a couple of times when they were kind of getting together, reminiscing about some random Rebels mission or something like that. I did love the little drop where they actually referred to Ahsoka as Fulcrum, her old code name. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, that was my general thought on that. I guess now to get into some of the newer stuff, I really loved Baylan and Shin, especially Baylan's character. He's very intriguing. Definitely, they're definitely being very guarded about what they're doing with the character, and he definitely has a very mysterious air to him. So I'm very curious to see what we learn as the show goes on. I love the part where Hugh Yang did his little analysis of the lightsabers, and we learned that Baylan does have a background in being a Jedi. But his apprentice, Shin, his lightsaber has not been seen before, so we get the idea that he's found somebody who's took him on as their own Padawan. But I'm very interested to see what happens with this character. I would say of all the new characters, he's the one I'm like the most intrigued by and very curious to see where it goes. I love, especially in the second episode where we get more a look into how the New Republic is dealing with Imperial infiltration in areas that they just assumed everything's good. So just assuming all the workers who used to work for the Empire, none of them had to be loyal to the Empire. Surely now that the New Republic's in charge, they'll be loyal to the New Republic. And so I really enjoyed that part of finding, this company is still, the leadership is still very pro-Empire and is funneling stuff to Morgan Elsbeth in her quest to get to Thrawn. The puzzle was kind of very cool. I love the design of it, and just the look of it in general. As like a Star Wars version of a Rubik's Cube, but a lot more technical. But especially my favorite part is definitely the star map that pops out. I thought that was very beautiful, especially when Morgan Elsbeth gets her hands on it and you get the big version of it. I found that was amazingly beautiful. And that definitely led to a big moment that I was not expecting, where it basically seems like Thrawn is not even in the same galaxy. He's in a different galaxy, which was not anything I'd ever guessed or theorized. I assumed he was in the unknown regions or something like that. So it being another galaxy was very, very cool. The ship design they're doing, which I'm assuming is kind of like a huge hyper ring to kind of maybe help them go to another galaxy. I love the design of that. That was very, very cool. I'm very interested to see how quick we begin to make that trip. It's clearly there's a lot of stuff going on. I'll also say I forgot to mention I love that it was revealed, which I think I'd seen a little bit in one of the trailers, that Morgan is a Night Sister of Dathomir. Absolutely love that. I've always been very interested in the Night Sisters since they were introducing books a long time ago, and I loved when they were mentioned in stuff like the Clone Wars and Rebels. So seeing the Night Sisters getting a live action appearance here in Ahsoka is very, very cool. And I'm really looking forward to the moment where we see some green magic from the Night Sisters on the live screen. There was really nothing that I really disliked or hated a little bit. I think I would have liked seeing a little bit more of Hera, maybe a little bit more in person. It felt like after a few times I got tired of the hologram version, so I'm glad we did get her a little bit more in person during her and Ahsoka's mission to Corellia. But maybe one too many uses of the hologram type thing, just from our personal taste. I would think I'd liked her a little bit more in person, but I understand why I did it. But after a while, I felt like, really, in hologram again, do we have to do this again? Maybe does she have to be here for this conversation if it's going to be by hologram? the looks of all the characters, I forgot to mention, I thought was really, really good. It felt like very faithful to the animated versions as much as they can, because obviously it's going to look different from animated to live action. Speaking of that, I loved Chopper's appearance and behavior during the chase off Corellia, where he's in charge of putting the tracking device on the other ship. His behavior, how he's talking, is so loyal to what Chopper was like in Rebels. I love that part. I think it was probably purposeful that he was in the ship the entire time, because I think some of the stuff that Chopper used to do animated on his wheels will look a little weird in live action, so I think maybe it's a good choice to maybe introduce the character that way. I'm very interested to see how much moving around we'll actually get to see of him doing that, and how much that will resemble what he was like in Rebels. But definitely love Chopper. I think he'll quickly become a lot of Star Wars fans one of their favorite droids who haven't seen Rebels before in live action. Like, oh, this droid's different. This droid has a fun attitude. Let's learn more about that. I've already seen a few people say this, talking about these first 2 episodes, but I think these first 2 episodes really were an introduction. Like, hey, if you're not familiar with Clone Wars or Rebels, or maybe it's just been a really long time since you've seen this, these first 2 episodes, this is getting you caught up. This is what this story's like. This is who these characters are, and now let's get going. So I'm super excited to see what episode 3 holds in store for next week. I am very hopeful we get to see Thrawn as soon as possible, because as somebody who's Thrawn is my favorite Star Wars character. The more Thrawn we can get, the better. I want to see Thrawn. Show us Thrawn. But I will trust the creators behind the show that, that might not be the best decision to unveil Thrawn early on. The mystery building up might make his reveal even better and more satisfying, and maybe do a better job of kind of building up the character that he is, this big bad that is going to be a serious threat to everyone in our Star Wars galaxy. So that is my thought on the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. Let me know in the comment section below, what did you think, what did you like, what you didn't like, and what are your hopes for the rest of this season. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button on this video. I really appreciate the support. Keep on coming back every week. I'll do these review videos for Ahsoka. Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.